Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on a particular character, doing some predictions, and what I think we're going to see for The Walking Dead's Morgan Jones, Lennie James character in Season 6. Okay, and spoiler warning if you're not caught up on The Walking Dead to the end of Season 5. In this one, we're going to be focusing and just talking about what I think is going to happen with Morgan because, out of all the characters in the show, I'm going to do one giving my thoughts on the evolution of Rick and some other videos focusing on certain characters. But in this one, I just want to talk with you guys about what we're going to see or what we think we're going to see from Morgan in Season 6. Also what we want to see, right? So this one came from a question that's heavily discussed right now, of course, with The Walking Dead after Season 5. What's going to happen with Morgan? What do we think we're going to see? Lots of different questions about him and how he's changed. This one was from RMCG, and he or she says, what did you think about Lennie James saying on Talking Dead that Morgan sounded the horn to make sure the walkers were not near so the wolves could survive, as he views all life as being sacred? And he says that to Daryl. And do you think he will be upset with Rick killing someone due to the fact of, he has this new philosophy? So that's a really great question. That was one I wanted to bring up right away at the start of this video. So really, really interesting stuff. Now, we've talked about this a bit before. We'll just rehash real quick. Earlier on in Season 3, of course, we see Morgan Season 1. We get an idea of where he's at. Season 3, we see him getting clear. We get an idea that he's lost everything. He has lost absolutely everything. And he's basically just surviving to fulfill this kind of, it seems to be an OCD purpose to clear. He says, yeah, I have to clear. You see it all around the boards. He's got the green. He's got writing all around him that he has to clear, right? So yeah, so we meet him from Rick's perspective again, and we can see right off the bat he attempts to kill Rick. He attempts to kill Morgan or Michonne and Carl without knowing who they are, without checking to see who they are first, or meeting with them, or seeing if they're hostile or if they're not. Obviously, he's met some hostile characters in the meantime because he's got booby traps everywhere, and he's ready to go. He's got some, welcome mat, another welcome mat. He's got everything set up here, in case he gets attacked. So obviously we can say that he's been through some shit, right? Never got to see it, but he explains it. He explains how his son was killed. He explains what happens with that. Then Season 5, we see him again. He's kind of on the trail of our survivors. He's looking for Rick. Since he seems to be basically the only person that he has developed some kind of long-lasting relationship or connection with, and he wants to find him. So it seems like at some point in time throughout all the governor stuff, all the time skips and all the things that happened at the prison and all that, between Season 3 and where we're at right now in Season 5, which is a while, 2 years in terms of our time, right? In terms of the seasons, in terms of the characters, we had the time skip, we had all this other things happening. It's about a year, maybe. You could look at the specifics of that. So at some point in time during that, as Lennie James explains on Talking Dead, usually I don't make a big deal about Talking Dead, but actually the finale one was really good for Conquer. The Season 4 finale for Talking Dead, they call it Season 4, even though the series is at Season 5. Because it started in Season 2, so they're off by one. So Lennie James talks a bit about what's happened to the character, and he gives us a little bit more detail on what's going on. So as RMCG says here, he was actually saving the wolves. See, I had the impression in the review that he was, getting some walkers to finish the job and that they were going to survive. But we find out that actually he was trying to lure in any walkers to kill them off to ensure they would survive, as he views all life is sacred. Which makes sense after you watch the part with Daryl again, that he's happy he goes to save them when he didn't have to, but he chooses to risk himself. Granted, I'm sure he knew he could handle himself with his staff, and he'd be able to take down, a good number of zombies without too much trouble. Just with some good footwork and, beating them down one at a time, splitting them up and separating them. So he explains all that in Talking Dead, that he's basically changed. Something has happened to him, he talks about, and that he's not the same as he was in Clear, obviously. He's found a new philosophy. It's going to be interesting to see how he, how him and Rick kind of converse and how they see things, because Morgan, of course, was in the opposite position. He was in kind of that killer position in Season 3, and, Rick was in more of we need to survive, we need to kill to survive, but yet we're not willing to, he's willing to do pretty much whatever it takes to survive, but he's not just going to kill anybody as soon as he meets them. Whereas in season 5, he's pretty close to that. I mean, he knocks Aaron out. He does some other things all throughout. Killing Bob in Coda, the mid-season finale, and a lot of the other things he's done all the way throughout. He's really a lot colder than where he was. So he's more of like it's a nice role reversal to where in season 3 they were kind of in the opposite position. Now they're in this position, and Morgan may actually be even nicer than Rick was in season 3 because he lets the wolves live when he could have killed them. So really interesting stuff. So with regards to season 6, what I think we're going to see, he said in Talking Dead that he'll be in at least one episode. That's what he said, at least one episode. I would think he's going to be in quite a few. I don't know what Lennie James is working on in terms of other series, but even, you've had Norman Reedus, who was in all season 5, and he was working on a movie, or 2 movies, I think. One Air, and the other was at 999 or something like that. I haven't seen any trailers for that yet, but he was working on a few things at once while he was doing the show. So I'm sure for Lennie James, they can make it work. The cast is huge right now. You've got all kinds of different, characters and different stuff going on in Alexandria. So we'll have to see what happens with Morgan and what they choose to do with him. But I think he will find a home there. I would think he will stay with the survivors. He might not be in every episode. He may come and go, maybe find some kind of job there, like, how Daryl and Aaron kind of go out on their own. Maybe Morgan could do something of the sort, or I guess we'll have to wait and see. But definitely early on season 6, I think we're going to see him quite a bit. In terms of death predictions, whether or not they would kill him off or anything, highly, highly doubted at this point. I mean, I think he'd probably survive on either through to the end of season 6 or maybe a couple seasons. I think it would be good, like season 6, 7, 8. And, I'd like to see him be a long-term survivor. Whether or not he is, we'll have to wait and see, because there's only so many they have from early on in the series that were in the show, near the beginning. It also seems from Talking Dead like Lennie James enjoys it. He enjoys being on the show, and thus, it sounds good. It sounds like we'll get to see lots of time with him in season 6. We'll find out what happened to him. I'm hoping for a flashback episode, or at least a few flashback scenes, maybe an intro or something of the sort of what happened to him prior and what helped him change to develop this new philosophy that he shouldn't kill anybody and that all life is sacred. And it seems like that has kind of been a part of what propelled him to go out and find Rick and the others, and not just sit in sit there in a nice location where he's set up with all these booby traps and stuff and lots of guns and stuff, but not having any kind of a life, like just being by yourself, just killing zombies all the time, surviving. Literally alone. It's kind of the Bob thing where he was alone all the time, and it's just and Michonne too has felt the same thing. What kind of life is it? So I'm really interested to see what they do with Morgan in season 6. I think he's going to be a huge focus. Maybe a season for him, like kind of season 5 was for Carol, or maybe season 2 for Shane, minus him getting killed off at the end. Hopefully we'll see that. Maybe we'll see a relationship with him and Michonne. We'll have to see how that goes. And I'm really looking forward to it. He's the character I'm most interested to seeing season 6, and how him and Rick kind of relate to one another, and how maybe he can affect Rick to kind of bring him back a bit, as I don't think he's permanently too far gone, and I think that maybe with some work, Morgan can kind of get him to come back a little bit, because at the end of season 5, I think, especially with Try and in the finale and that, he was a little bit too cutthroat, and he kind of felt like an outsider. It's almost like Shane to where the group was in season 2. Rick was feeling similar to the other characters, the other survivors in Alexandria. So interesting stuff. I can't wait to see how it goes. Can't wait to see him kill more walkers with the staff. Lennie James is amazing. He's one of the best actors in the show for sure. Seen lots of amazing stuff with him over the seasons. One of my favorite characters. And I'm hoping to see tons of him in season 6. Hopefully we will. So let me know what you guys think. We'll see from Morgan in season 6. I think it's going to be great. And I think he's going to be a fun character to see what happens with. I'll be interested to see him and Gabriel, if he can kind of have, maybe he can kind of play the role of not really necessarily pastor, but of kind of spiritual guidance for characters, since clearly Gabriel is not fit to do that right now. So maybe guiding some of the others, helping them get back on the right path and find a reason to live. Maybe him and Sasha can relate, as a result of that, and he can help some of these others. So we'll see. Should be great, man. I'm really excited for season 6, and even though I'm excited for Fear the Walking Dead, I'm more excited for season 6 because I just want to see all these things continue. Such an amazing story, and they do such a great job with it. So let me know what you guys think. We'll see from Morgan in season 6 what your most anticipated character is for season 6. For me, it's Morgan. Write in the comments below. Let me know how you guys are doing with the Walking Dead withdrawals. I asked about that yesterday in the Q&A. And yeah, if you like the video, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share it. Please favorite it. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you want to get these videos almost daily in your subscriber feed, lots of Walking Dead, fan videos. Bottom left, just click the subscribe. That's it for this one, guys. I'll see you for the next one. As always, it's Trev. Stay in peace.